Hello, friends, and welcome to Color Inspiration. Are you craving creativity? Are you looking for some new ideas? Well, tonight, we are not only taking you to the color zoom world of real illusion, but we're going to look at what does it take to compete in the Color Zoom Challenge, where this evening, one of my special guests to help me in telling you the story, and please join me in welcoming Mr. Demetrius Chamas. Demetrius, thank you for being here.
Hey, thank you for having me.
Of course. I mean, who better to take us into the Color Zoom story than you? So really, thank you. You know, I know some of the viewers that may be with us tonight or even watching, this is something that through Color Zoom, I think the whole entire concept and the story behind it is absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
And, you know, this year we're going into a world of real illusion. You know, tell me a little bit about, tell everyone, what is real illusion, first off?
Real Illusion is really an amazing collection. Number one, because it really allows us to ask ourselves what's reality and what's illusion. Really, what's real, what's fake, what's natural, what's artificial.
Sure.
So looking at that, it's really about optical distortion, thinking about how we visually can play with our eyes and how we really look at hair. So it's about really the unexpected, being able to really look at hair and see many different things and have ourselves take at second glance.
Well, I think that's a key point, second glance. You know, each year as, you know, we always look at what is the technique, what is a concept. I know we as colorists, we as stylists, as an industry, we're always looking at where can we actually evolve our clients because they're craving a brand new identity as well.
Yeah.
You know, but it doesn't have to be so labor intensive. And that's what I love about the Color Zoom Real Illusion is that it takes it into a concept, and we're going to speak about it through the evening, called the kaleidoscope effect.
Absolutely.
You know, and with this, I always think about what's brilliant behind it as well is that it gives you a placement and a concept to design and make your work as individual as not only you are, but as the canvas wearing it. You know, I think you said about where reality meets illusion. Right? And that optical distortion. What I love, we've had for the last few years within hair fashion and trending something called ombre and hair painting, which are amazing. But now where do we actually evolve that from here? You know, let's talk a little bit about what is the kaleidoscope effect.
The kaleidoscope effect is really working with prisms, and I'm sure at some point we've all looked through a kaleidoscope. And thinking about that, we're working with triangle shapes, which are prisms, and with the sectioning of the color as well as the haircuts and the shape designs, we're really playing with how we really place these triangles and how we connect them to really create really interesting, unexpected results within the shape, the texture, but also really kind of looking at the color in a different way.
Well, and into what a kaleidoscope does, I think that's exactly it. You mentioned into the prism form, it's a triangular section, right? And we know that that provides us color direction, but what we place inside of that is what is creating that optical illusion, right? And I think that's what that visual distortion is really referencing to. As it moves, just like as you're turning a kaleidoscope, you're seeing the colors melt together, and you're seeing the harmony. Maybe you're placing 3 levels of different tonal difference, but maybe it just even shifts within the saturation. Looking at something a little more saturated, a little more reflective, and maybe even something of a nuance that's in a familiar level, but a slightly cooler hue, or maybe a little more opaque.
What I love about the collection is that it really allows the light to play a lot with this, with the color as well as the angles that you may see color. So not only about light reflection, like you said, but also what is hitting on top of that.
That's right.
To really create different effects. So allowing you and allowing people to actually look at the canvas in a different way, because we all look at a kaleidoscope maybe, or a canvas, and we may look at it and see red first, but somebody else may see copper first. And that's exactly what the collection's about. It's about playing with the eye and having fun with it, because it's a very happy collection that has very positive energy, but yet it actually plays with you a little bit in a very different way that normally we don't necessarily look at hair.
Well, and I think you made great reference point into what is the shine line, because it's training the eye to see beyond. We see really beautiful shape and really beautiful tone that come together, but how does it actually melt? And we're looking at a second glance, I think is a big key. Now, in the beginning, we opened into what is the true visual of the collection of Real Illusion, but also what I want to share tonight are not only taking the kaleidoscope effect and using it as a blueprint, but taking it as a guide aside to edit and maybe just update some of the canvas of your work. I always look at the Color Zoom project that it's a quick and easy technique that you can take into any canvas, and whichever shade spectrum or level of difference that you choose to play in, I can totally take the effect and use it instantly.
Right.
So tonight, I know we're speaking about Color Zoom and we're going to go further, but speak to us a little bit about the other side story about the Color Zoom Challenge.
Yes.
Because I know not only in competition, I know into the Color Zoom Challenge, what makes it special is it allows you to expose your work to the world, right? And also for those of them that want to get into some of the photo shooting, you know, tell me some of your first thoughts about what goes into creating your identity for a true collection.
I mean, there's a lot of work that goes into it, as we know. But looking at the Color Challenge specifically, it's really about kind of training the eye, but also challenging yourself and your craft. I think with the Color Zoom Challenge, it really allows you, especially this year with the collection, it really allows you to be super creative, and also the possibilities are endless within the direction that you can take the collection into.
Sure.
So it's not this really just tight or, you know, very blueprinted collection. We really allow you to kind of explore the ideas of what is real and what is fake, and that's exactly what it is. Looking at the Color Challenge as an avenue to not only be creative, but also to really play and have fun and expose not only your creativity, but also your work to the world.
Of course, and it's really about, to me, taking me a little bit further to expand about taking what is the concept and putting your own effect to it, you know, and allowing it to really live it in the fullest. So I know we have a lot to share with everyone this evening, and before we actually take them into the first bit of the wonderful Real Illusion eye candy, I know, as we've done in the past, and if this is the first time with us, please join me with it, through Instagram, through Twitter, through Facebook, or any of the social medias, let's get ready for our first hashtag of the night, and it's everything at John C. Simpson, hashtag Color Inspiration. And as you tweet away, what I want to do is I want to set up into our first look, Eileen. We're here with the Eileen look. Demetrius, tell me, what's the first step?
With the first step, we want to actually match up this new zone with the mid shaft and ends, utilizing Silk Lift as our decolorizer. So we're going to go in and just tap in at the new zone.
Over the entire head?
Entire head. So we're going to work around the entire head, touching up her regrowth.
Okay, well, we'll let you have at that and let her process, and then we'll see what's next. We're back into the Eileen sectioning, and I see not only have you decolorized, but you've applied an overlay on every single bit of it. Tell me a little bit about what's going on and also what's happening in your section.
So we applied our Lumen overlay here just to get that background foundation out of the way, and we're working here with 4 simplistic prisms. We have an expanded prism in the front, working from recession to recession, back to the point, and then connecting is our 2 reduced prisms, followed by our expanded prism in the back. So if you look at it, it's slightly a prism within itself when you add them all together.
That's great. It's like a diamond-like section.
Exactly.
So what's the first step?
So I'm going to start in the front, working in. And what I'm going to do is actually work with horizontal partings. I'm just going to clip that out of the way. And I'm going to be alternating 2 different shades, working with our new shade, our Real Illusion Peachy Beige. And I'm going to go in there, paint that in.
And it's a horizontal slice that you're diffusing scalp to end?
And I'm actually going right up to the foil line, and then I'm going to tap in the background foundation that's applied around the prisms, just to get a soft diffusion. So I'm going to be tapping in my lumen there and moving forward. And continuing up to another horizontal parting.
And you're working this back to back into the papers.
And it might be a little difficult with working with shorter hair, but once you've actually applied the foils, you can then move into with a clip and then isolate that so it's out of the face. So here I'm actually going in with my low formula Again, painting up to the foil mark.
And you're really ensuring saturation.
Absolutely. With the lumen, the wetter the better. So you really want to go in there and make sure that you have full saturation to get your end result that you're looking for. And then tapping in again the background. So here with even our low formula, it's going to be diffused and softened as it moves out. And I'm going to continue the same pattern with the peachy beige and my low until I hit the point of the prism.
Okay, so continuing back to back, just into the rotation of the slices until you reach the point.
Correct.
All right, great. Well, I'm going to let you have that, and then we'll see what's next.
So now I'm going into my side reduced prisms, and I'm starting with my low. Again, always tapping in the background shade at the scalp and working in horizontally from the side towards the point of the prism.
So it's a horizontal slice rotation once again, except now you're introducing a new shade.
Right, so I have now my Reillusion Pinky Rose that I'm working in with my low formula. Again, going up to my foil, thermal paper, and then tapping in the background at the scalp. And continuing that rotation until I run out of hair. So I'm going to be doing that on both sides.
All right, so one more. Let me let them see it. And then once again, horizontal of the Reillusion Pinky Rose, and same thing on the other reduced prism.
Correct.
Well, I'm going to let you have that, and then we'll see what happens in the fourth.
All right, thanks. So now I'm actually working in this expanded prism at the top crown of the head, and I'm working in the 10 BB as a solid section with the background tapped in at the scalp area.
Okay, so the others were a rotation of horizontal slices followed by a diffuse from background into 10 BB as a solid.
Correct.
Okay, well, super. Well, I'm going to let everyone take a